Join me today for another BattleTech unboxing video. This time, the Mercenaries Box Set. This is the Geek Ball channel. My name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be unboxing the Mercenaries Box Set. Now, this is the Kickstarter exclusive version as far as the box itself. I think some of these are going to make their way to retail. I've seen listings for them, but the regular box will look different. The contents should be exactly the same though. Similar to the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, where there was a Kickstarter exclusive box, then a normal retail box. And again, you know, some of those still found their way to retail because retailers were allowed to jump in and buy some of them. Plus, you know, people bought some extras to sell, I'm assuming. So it's entirely the box. I was like, hey, you know, might as well get the exclusive one because I'm going to keep the box anyway. So here it is, but let's open it up and see what we've got. Plastic wrap out of the way there. So this is the, I'm just going to call it the BattleTech chevron that's been on a lot of the merchandise lately. It typically takes the place of the A on the shirts, I believe. So here it is, just kind of, you know, black all the rest of the way around. I mean, there's a pattern on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in there. Let's see what's inside. So we have a new short story, No One Left Behind, by Michael Sierravella. Yeah. I've done reviews for a number of his books. I generally consider him a pretty good BattleTech author. So once I have the chance to read this, I'll definitely give a review for it. And it looks like this is going to be in the Ill Clan era. So we got the little Ill Clan symbol down here. So, let's see. So it looks like it's about a guy who wants to be a battle mech pilot and can't quite make the testing, but he runs into a mercenary who thinks he's got potential, and it goes from there. This is what it sounds like. And just like the others, we got some artwork here in the back showing the various mechs that are involved in the story, so that you know what they look like and not just have to rely on descriptions. A couple pages. I think we got one more page here. Yeah. So, like I said, once I get this read, I'll do a review on it. It'll be pretty short. Looks like it's 27 pages. Yeah, pretty short. I should get through this pretty quickly. So we have a lot of cards this time. Let's see what we got here. We have our 2d6, technically the only dice you need for the game. I have our stack of pilot cards. We have, looks like, battlefield support cards. Let me check these guys out here. So I don't know if it's just mine, but these are like stuck together. You're gonna have to like prime apart. They're like vacuum sealed. Okay, so these are cards that represent, you know, stuff on the battlefield, and I guess in case you don't want to use the actual miniatures, like Here's like a heavy gun emplacement. And, you know, it's got the ranges, skills, damage, checks. Obviously, movement point 0. It's a gun turret. So yeah, and even under special it says immobile. So yeah, so these are kind of interesting. I'll have to read up on the rule book to see how you actually incorporate these, because I don't have. I don't think I have the battlefield support deck that's separate from it, so I don't know all the rules for these. But you got infantry in here. MASH vehicles. Since you carry battery infantry, you know, you got to heal those guys. More gun emplacements. Galleon light tank. A Manticore tank. You know, warrior attack helicopter. Now a number of the Maxim. Now a number of these do have miniatures in the that came out with the Mercenaries Kickstarter in the box sets. The force packs that are slowly filtering out. And I'm gonna have another video. I don't know if it's gonna go up before or after this, but I'm recording this here the first week of January 2025, and Catalyst just announced like the next batch of stuff that's going to go up for retail, and there's a couple things in there that are relevant to this discussion, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, there's a lot here. I'm not going to go into every single one of these cards, but if you have any questions, hit me up down in the comments and I'll try to answer them for you. But there's a lot of cards. It's a pretty good deck there. Then we have another pack. This is Battlefield Support Deck, which I'm assuming it's actually meant to go with these, because I can see on the back are the Alpha Strike cards for the mechs here. Okay. Yeah, so these, you know, these kind of cards I think I do have some of. Like these are cards for minefields, artillery support, heavy air cover, thumper, which is an artillery piece, air cover. Yeah, these are things like you kind of use throughout the game, so you don't have to set up miniatures for your artillery and your aerospace fighters, things like that. Each have a point cost and, you know, what they do and things like that. Like a strafing run, light bombing, light airstrike, heavy airstrike. And then we have the have our Alpha Strike cards. So it looks like, what do we have here? Okay, and there are 2 of each of the vehicles, so there are 2 of each of their cards. And like in the other videos, I got a close up at the end so you can see everything what we got here. But let's go ahead and kind of go through what we have here. We have, which one are you? Okay, you're not the Maxim. We have 2 Galleon light tanks, 2 Maxim heavy hover transports. And like I said, I'll get them all at the end here, the close-ups. I'm just going to read off what we have. An Ostsol, a Quick Draw, Firefly, Flea, Devastator, a Caesar, which I have another video where I opened one of these from the legendary salvage boxes. So it's the one from the legendary 2 or 3 box set. But I have already done one on a Caesar, a Star Slayer, and a Chameleon. So, like I said, we'll get the close-ups of these at the end, but looks like that's all there. Well, let's see what else is in the box here, shall we? We have a Mercenaries rulebook. And on the back cover here, we have some of the miniatures painted up very exquisitely, far above my capability. Let's see what we got here. So we got instructions on, we got the box contents, how to do the battlefield support cards, force building, and how battlefield support comes into that, chaos campaign as far as using mercenaries, explaining what battle value is, the box set mech list, trying to explain playing a mercenary campaign, contracts, then looks like some scenarios, if I'm guessing correctly here. Then contract steps, tracks, objective raids, mercenary commands, and example worksheets. Then we have some, on the opening page, we have some symbols for the various mercenary commands over here. Recognize a couple of them, but I'm not super well versed in all the mercenaries. And let's see if we got anything here towards the end. No, that's pretty much what's in here. And as per usual, there's some artwork scattered throughout. And, I don't know how exhaustive this is without reading it. I'm assuming this is just like the bare bones versions of all this stuff. We have the book of record sheets. This will be for all the mechs. And looks like it's one for the variants on both sides of the Alpha Strike cards. And it's just the mechs, not the vehicles. We have our BattleTech primer, which has explaining the various BattleTech areas, the universe. We have our inner map. There's a bigger map I'll unfold here in a second. It's for 3058. So this is towards the end of the clan invasion. I don't think you're quite to the FedCom Civil War yet. Or maybe you are, because it does show these as separate entities. And then here's the update. And that included like several planets where the mercenary hiring halls are. And here is 3151. Things have obviously changed. And again, explains where the hiring halls are, but also like where the various hotspots are. Like the Hinterlands, which has its own source book that I haven't gotten hold of yet, but also is covered in Tomorrow Rising, a book I did cover already. Then the Combine Suns border, because the Combine invaded the Federated Suns and then got kicked back out. Former Republic worlds, the Wolf Empire, the Marian Hegemony, it goes through all those. And this talks about mercenaries, soldiers of fortune. Talks about we got stuff here about the Wolf Dragoons, the Kellhounds, the Eridani Light Horse, the Great Death Legion. Did some reviews about some books about the Great Death Legion, the more recent incarnation, not the older incarnation with Grayson Carlisle, but his descendants in the 3151 era. The Northwind Highlanders. They've popped up in a few of the novels I've talked about, mainly fighting the Capellans. And then you got like a thing here about other mercenary commands. And here on the back page is a number of other mercenary commands and their symbols. Yeah, I don't even know if I've heard of any of these guys. Well, I have heard of the 4th Tau Ceti Rangers and the Crescent Hawks. But only in passing, couldn't tell you anything about them. So we have our map. So that's 3058. And 3151. Try to get some pictures of that in with the other part. Then we have a bunch of pop outs. These are for those, probably for the cards I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's a bunch of infantry, vehicles, a few buildings. Yeah. We have our handy cardboard insert with all our charts and whatnot. This battlefield support stuff. We have mercenary force record sheets, contract of employment, the charts for the contract. Yeah. In case no one's ever told you, folks, BattleTech is basically math the game with lots and lots of charts. The robots are just to sucker you in. Let's see. These are actual battle maps. Here is the River Valley. And then we have the Scattered Woods on the back side. These are paper maps. We have the lake area. Probably so named because there's a giant lake on it. And woodland. So presumably you would combine two of these and you'd be off to the races. So that's pretty much everything we got in the box here. I'll put the maps out so I can get those close-ups as well. But yeah, so that is everything that's in the box. We'll do a close-up here in a minute so you can see the various miniatures, and some of the cards, and like I said, the maps. So this is going to be a lot longer close-up than the force packs because there's several other things here I'm going to show you. So anyway, let's go ahead and cut away to that for right now, and we'll check that out. hopefully folks got the chance to see everything nice and close up there. That's pretty much it for this one. Try to answer any questions you might have as far as the rules. I'll have to read through them. As I've said before, I'm a lot more into the lore than I am the game side of things, but I do like all the game side stuff. So, but anyway, feel free to ask any questions about that. Like I said, I'll try to answer them. If there's anything I got wrong, feel free to correct me, because I don't like giving people false information. And I do actually appreciate the people that do correct me in the comments. I try to make sure that I actually sound like I appreciate them, because I do, but I also know that like tone doesn't come across very well in text, so please don't take anything I say as like snarky or anything like that. You know, like if I say thank you, I do mean thank you, not like, oh, thank you, you know. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You gonna pick up one of these? Have you already got one? What do you think? Do you prefer the other box cover? Here's the back of the box real quick, by the way. It's just like, it's like a lot of the Lance packs. It's just, you know, pictures of the mechs and some of the contents and some blurb up here at the top. Yeah, it does mention this is a supplement to the Game of Armored Combat box, which is required to use this. So, because you're going to need the other rules. The actual, like, combat rules are not in here. This is rules for how to use all this stuff with that. So, this is an expansion, essentially. Not a standalone, just to be clear. Let me make absolutely certain that there was nothing in there before I say that more definitively, but I didn't really see a lot of the standard rules in here. Now I do think, if I remember correctly, you can download the very basic rules. So you might be able to get by with those, but I don't think it's going to cover enough, because this is, I think, is going to make some assumptions that you're using slightly more advanced rules. But without reading the rule book, I don't know that for certain. But I will trust the back of the box in saying that you do need the other one. If you just want the mechs, if you can find them when they come up, Catalyst does sell just the mechs, but they don't produce a whole lot of them. They're usually just for the Kickstarter. I know the Game of Armored Combat box set, I grabbed a couple at Gen Con one year, so, and they're usually about half the price of the box, or those were half the price of the box set. I've seen these are almost the same cost, so you're almost better off just buying this, because I don't believe those come with the cards, if I remember correctly, because I think I just opened mine recently because I had them sitting around because I knew exactly what was in them, but I need to downsize, and they take up, as you can see, you know, this takes up more space than just the mechs in a box. So that is something if you just want the mechs. Also, a number of these have already started to find their way into other box sets. Like I mentioned, the Caesar, I want to say the Star Slayer is already in another set, or is in a set destined to come out in the very near future. I don't know offhand about the others, but I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, that's all I've got on this one. So like I said, you know, let me know down in the comments what you think. You can pick one of these up. Do you have one? Do you like my house layout flag back here, in case you haven't noticed it this entire video somehow? Yeah, any of that. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting help us grow the channel. We always appreciate it. And be on the lookout, because I've got tons of Lance packs, or sorry, Force packs from the Kickstarter that I'll be going through, and I've already opened up a bunch of the salvage boxes. I've already recorded all those, but there's still several more to go. So as far as releasing, because this is going to release in the middle of all those. Plus, if I start getting into the Lance packs, I'm going to kind of vary things. So keep an eye out for those. Also, I'm going to address this in another video, but just in case, most of this is not actually at retail yet, because what you're seeing at places like Miniature Market, or like Fortress miniatures or Ares miniatures. I believe that's their order from the Kickstarter, because retailers were allowed to place orders, and they're supposed to have gotten their stuff after everyone else. And like the reason they would want to place orders, they have a first stab at selling it, I think. I'm not one of these retailers, so I couldn't tell you for certain, but I believe that's their impetus for backing the Kickstarter. So actual retail releases are going to be starting, I believe, this month, with this box set and a few other things. Like I said, I'm going to address this in another video. But I had a gentleman who's been asked, I assume it's a gentleman. If not, please feel free to correct me. Who was asking in some of the other videos, as far as I was opening up the salvage boxes, about finding them, and they're going for like $20 or more on eBay. That's like someone's Kickstarter stuff, okay? Those are not in retail yet. They're only short right now. That's about to change. It's supposed to be changing this month, at least for the regular salvage boxes. Don't know for sure about the others. I assume the salvage boxes listed are the regular ones and the vehicle ones. So those will show up at the very least on the Catalyst website. But I believe that means they should start showing up at other retailers in the very near future as well. So keep an eye out there. They'll be cheaper than eBay. But yeah, just want to throw that out there. Like I said, there'll be another video about that too. So, and that one might actually go up first. So if it's up first, sorry you had to hear all this twice. But yeah, that's all I've got for now. So yeah, just remember, no guts, no galaxy.